Alright, today we're having a look at Hybrid Syndrome FPS by Scary Biscuit. Alright, so here we are in Hybrid Syndrome FPS with Scary Biscuit. Wake up, it's time to get out of here. The Gateway Cube looks used. I don't know what we can use the Gateway Cube for. Maybe find something to shut down this energy field. I am not the best at shooters, first person or otherwise, so this should be exciting. Ooh, nice creepy sound design. Now, Scary Biscuit is a well-known and fairly prolific creator on LVP. I don't know if we've looked at any of their creations before. I checked out their LVP page and didn't find anything. I'd like to know what is hissing at me, because that's kind of spooky. This does have the very smooth run-through that a lot of SPS games do have, so hopefully that won't make us too sick. Because sometimes that is an issue for me. Are we being chased? I don't know, but I'm starting to get creeped out. I'm really liking the environmental design here, and I'm liking the weird little kind of bubbles that are floating through the screen. I thought initially that that was a transition element going from scene to scene, but it just seems like that's something that's in the game itself, well, in the creation itself. And that's kind of cool. I like it. We've got our health down in the lower left. We haven't run into any enemies yet. Oh, what are you? Oh, you're bad. Okay, like that's gotta go. Does it know we're here? Do we want to? I mean, we do want to kill this, right? Okay. I mean, I'm gonna run with it. Sure. Just because something's spooky looking doesn't mean it needs to be killed, but usually in an FPS, it's a pretty good idea. That's where we started. Okay. So we've seen one enemy. The AI on that enemy may or may not be functioning correctly. I don't know if it was just supposed to sit there and take it. Okay. Whoa, 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 whoa. What? What did we just do? Did we step on a button or something? Excuse me? Oh, okay. Whoa. Hello? I don't know what we walked through, why that triggered exactly, but that's okay. Now, though I do like the environment a lot, I do think it looks really nice. I'm having a little bit of a hard time telling if I've been someplace before or not. Look, if you're gonna hiss at me, you could be friends. You could just like chill with me. I'd be cool with that. The hissing is like, it's a nice sound effect. I gotta give it that, but it's not having quite enough payoff. Wait, did we unlocked or opened Sector 2? Yes, we did. Okay. Maybe that was just trying to whoa! Smorgasbord. Not very attacky aliens. Maybe I ought not be killing them. I feel kind of bad now. Now, I don't know if this is a Dreams thing or not. Did I get turned around? I don't think so. But my screen cuts off the edge of things that are, well, on the edge of the screen. So I can't actually tell how many gateway cubes that we picked up. That's not on the level, by the way. That is completely on Dreams. Sector 1 is now open. Cool. Oh, okay. So, like, that wasn't moving us around or anything like that. It was just showing us what we've unlocked. Gotcha. I don't know if we want to go to Sector 1 yet, or if we can get to Sector 1 yet. I think we've been here already. Yeah, a little bit more distinction in the environment, just so that it's a bit of an easier read. There's another pressure pad. Alright. Maybe we already stepped on that one? I've applied pressure. That should be all that's necessary. For an FPS, this has got distinctly little shooty elements. It's definitely got the F and the P, but it seems to be lacking a little bit of S. This feels familiar. I feel familiarized with this area. Oh crap, we've only got 7 seconds left. Okay, well, we're probably gonna have to be their Sector 1. We're gonna have to talk about this back at the hub. Oh crap, but we'll see you there. See yas! And we're back, and Hybrid Syndrome FPS by Scary Biscuit, and I'd say it's a softer yellow square. I do think it is a yellow square, but there are definitely some issues with the level, and it does feel a little bit like a proof of concept more than a finished design. Now, as we mentioned in the video, and I'm not like super skilled at first-person shooters. They have a number of issues that kind of don't work with me, and Borderlands 2 so far has really been the only one I've ever been able to get pretty deeply into. But I did find for the most part the controls of this one were not really a big issue. I didn't feel myself often getting kind of nauseated by the movement, which does happen for me in a lot of first-person shooters, and there really wasn't a lot of shooting, which for me was beneficial because I often have problems kind of tracking enemy movement and actually aiming well in first-person shooters, but because there wasn't a lot of that necessary in this one, I was able to survive, which is always appreciated. I really enjoyed just the visual look of the environment as an environment. You know, I thought that Scary Biscuit's done a really good job here presenting this kind of space station slash laboratory. The textures and the type of objects that are there seem diegetically sound, and I thought that was good. I liked the pink energy fields. I thought that was a nice bit of pop of color in the level, which was for the most part generally relatively dark. Now I do say that I like that as an environment to look at, as kind of like a place, but an environment to play in, and it was a little bit more problematic for me because, as we mentioned, the areas are not particularly visually distinct. And while that kind of makes sense, and we've talked about this before, in I think we looked at a Simple Town, maybe, that, you know, a lot of places that you're in do look kind of samey. They're not necessarily set up to be visually distinct. If you've been in an office building, for example, in the real world, that's not like really a huge problem, but in a game environment, it can lead to getting lost pretty easily, and I did feel a number of times that I wasn't really sure if I'd been in this place before, if I was looping back on myself or not. Even in the second play, I was having issues like that, and it's not helped by the way that Scary Biscuit has indicated doors being opened from those pressure switches. The first time that we played, I didn't even know, I hadn't noticed that I'd stepped on a pressure switch. Suddenly, you know, the camera is pulled out and swung over to where the door is opening. I wasn't sure if we were being teleported there. I didn't really understand what was going on, so when we snapped back to where we were, and I looked around, like, well, am I still in the same place, or have I been teleported? Have I been sent away? It's like, it's neat to watch from the outside, but I did think it made things a little bit more difficult from the inside to figure out, you know, and parse kind of what was going on. Now, as a first-person shooter, and you know, you got three levels there. We've got three letters there, and you know, the last letter is S, and that is an important one. It is a shooter, and we do finally, and even in the video, we finally saw some enemies, and they are. I like the sound design, and I like the sound design in the level in general. I thought that was pretty well handled. It was spooky. It was maybe a little bit over triggered because, you know, we kind of got to the point where like you're hissing at me, but is something going to show up? When we finally do see those enemies, and the design of the enemies is cool. I like that part. That was good. The AI on the enemies is a little bit weird. It seems like you've got to be pretty directly in front of their cone of vision for them to kind of track and attack you. And the first one that we ran into just kind of sat there and took shots because it didn't know that we were there. Now, later on, you'll be encountering enemies a little bit more frequently, they tend to spawn in with a pink flash. And that's not a bad effect. It's a good indication that something has happened and that an enemy is present. But when I initially saw that and I wasn't paying attention to my health, I thought I was actually taking damage. I couldn't figure out the source. It did finally click that that was just an indication that something has spawned into the level, and not to worry over much about it. But it did kind of make me wonder, like, why am I taking damage? There's nothing close to me. There's an enemy, but it's not close to me. When you finally do get attacked by the enemies, and your health goes down pretty quickly, so that is something to keep in mind. You don't want to get boxed into a corner, because it can be a little bit tough to actually get away from the things. But if you've got any skill at FPSs, this should not give you too much stress. The level flow basically is we're trying to find those 8 gateway cubes, and they will eventually unlock the exit to the level. And as I said, this is not on Scary Biscuit. This is nothing that Scary Biscuit's done. But Dreams, for some reason, they haven't put in yet the ability to, how would you say it? Like, to pull in on the screen. A lot of times when you see settings in games, like the first time you play a game, and it'll ask you to show how much of the screen that you can actually see. We get that in LBP3. You can't do that yet in Dreams, so I often get information, sometimes vital information, that's cut off on the sides or on the top and bottom. And that definitely was the case here, because I couldn't track how many cubes I had actually picked up, because that number was cut off by the side of the screen. It did make it a little bit more difficult, but it's not really that big of an issue. The level is not so large that backtracking is going to be too big of a problem. You're not going to waste too much time. And as it stands now, you could probably do the entire level somewhere between maybe 7 minutes and 10 minutes, I think. I'd like to see the concept expanded on. I'd like to see more done with this, and I'd like to see a little bit more refinement of the idea. All things that I'm pretty sure that Scary Biscuit can pull off. So we do look forward to seeing what they do in the future. But I think this does it for us here, this Go About It Fever Dreams. So from me, Bisco, here in Osaka, to all of you out there, wherever you may happen to be, thank you. Arigato, sayonara, see you, and ciao.